The lawyer slid 2 envelopes across the mahogany table. My sister Vanessa opened hers to find keys to a beachfront mansion worth millions. I opened mine to find a deed to 3 acres of cracked asphalt everyone called the dead zone. My father had just told me exactly what I was worth to him, and I was about to prove him spectacularly wrong. My name is Harper Chen, and I learned everything I needed to know about my family at my father's estate reading. We sat in his lawyer's office. Mahogany everything, leather chairs that cost more than most people's cars, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline. My father, Richard Chen, had built an empire in commercial real estate. Chen Properties was stamped on half the buildings downtown. Vanessa sat beside me, perfectly composed in her Chanel suit, her manicured nails drumming against the armrest. She'd always been the golden child, Harvard MBA, married to another real estate heir, 2 perfect children whose photos dominated every family gathering. Me. I was the disappointment. The daughter who chose environmental engineering over business school. The one who worked for startups instead of joining the family company. The one who showed up to dinner parties in jeans. The lawyer cleared his throat. Mr. Chen has structured his estate with careful consideration for each daughter's circumstances. That should have been my first warning. Vanessa's envelope was thick. Mine was thin. She opened hers first, and I watched her face transform. Surprise, then satisfaction, then that particular smile she wore when she won. The Emerald Coast property, she breathed. Dad, it's the crown jewel. I knew that property. Everyone did. 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, private beach access, worth at least $8 million. Maybe more. My father nodded, pleased. You've earned it, Vanessa. You understand legacy. You understand value. Then everyone turned to me. My envelope felt light. Too light. I tore it open with shaking fingers. Inside was a single deed to a property I'd never heard of, 3.2 acres on Route 47, lot designation HC Commercial Abandoned. Route 47? I looked up. That's out by the old industrial park. My father's expression was carefully neutral. It's a parking lot, Harper. Well, it was. It's been vacant for about 15 years. Vanessa snorted. Actually snorted. Wait, she gets the cracked lot? Dad, that place is a disaster. You've been trying to unload it for years. It has potential, my father said, but even he didn't sound convinced. With the right vision. The lawyer shifted uncomfortably. The property does come with some challenges. Environmental cleanup costs, zoning restrictions, and the asphalt will need complete replacement. How much is it worth? I interrupted. Silence. Mr. Chen acquired the property for $200,000 20 years ago, the lawyer finally said. Current market value, given its condition and location, perhaps $150,000. If you can find a buyer. Vanessa had received $8 million. I had received what amounted to a liability. If you've ever felt overlooked by your own family, stay with me. This is where things get interesting. Asterisk. My mother reached across and squeezed my hand. Harper, sweetheart, maybe this is a sign. You could sell it, use the money for something practical. Maybe it's time to think about a more stable career path. More stable than environmental engineering? I pulled my hand away. We could hire you at Chen Properties, Vanessa offered, and her tone made it clear this was charity. Assistant project manager. You'd start at the bottom, obviously, but I'm not interested in working for you. My father sighed, the sound of a man who'd expected this reaction. Harper, I gave you what I thought you could handle. You've never shown interest in the business. You've never demonstrated that you understand real value. This property is a test. A test. Prove me wrong. Build something. Show me you inherited more than just your mother's stubborn streak. The words landed like a slap. I stood up, clutching the deed. Thank you for the inheritance. I'll make sure it's worth more than you think. As I left, I heard Vanessa whisper, she'll sell it within 6 months. I drove to Route 47 that same afternoon. The property was worse than I imagined. 3 acres of cracked, weed-choked asphalt surrounded by chain-link fence. Graffiti covered a burned-out security booth. Someone had dumped old tires in one corner. The whole place looked like a movie set for the apocalypse. But I didn't see what was there. I saw what could be. Location. Route 47 intersected with the new tech corridor. 3 miles from the university. 2 miles from the medical complex. Right on the bus line. Demographics. The area was rapidly developing. Young professionals, researchers, graduate students. And I noticed something my father hadn't. Half the cars parked on surrounding streets were electric vehicles. EV adoption in the city had exploded in the past 5 years, but charging infrastructure hadn't kept up. The nearest public fast charging station was 8 miles away. I pulled out my phone and started making notes. By sunset, I had the skeleton of a business plan. By midnight, I'd named it PowerShift Hub, a solar-powered EV charging station with amenities people actually wanted. Not just chargers, but a place you'd want to spend time while your car charged. The next morning, I called my former boss from the renewable energy startup where I'd worked. Marcus, I need advice.
And possibly money.
He listened to my pitch. You're describing a charging lounge. Premium concept. The tech sector would eat it up.
I have no capital beyond the land.
But you have something better. You have environmental engineering expertise and you understand the EV market. Harper, I've been looking for investment opportunities in charging infrastructure. Let me see your numbers. 3 weeks later, Marcus committed $300,000 in seed funding in exchange for 25% equity. Combined with a small business green energy grant I qualified for, I had $450,000 to work with. It wasn't enough. Banks turned me down for loans. Too risky, they said. Unproven business model. Unproven entrepreneur. I maxed out 2 credit cards. I sold my car and bought a used electric bike. I moved into a studio apartment half the size of my old place. My family noticed. Harper, what are you doing? My mother called weekly. Vanessa says you're living like a college student.
This is embarrassing. I'm building something.
You're throwing your life away on a parking lot. But I kept going. Construction took 8 months. I was there every day, in a hard hat, arguing with contractors, reviewing electrical plans, negotiating with solar panel suppliers. I learned more in those 8 months than in 4 years of graduate school. The design came together piece by piece. Solar canopy system, covering the entire lot, generating more power than the chargers needed. Excess went back to the grid for additional revenue. Fast charging stations, 16 level 3 chargers capable of 80% charge in 30 minutes. The Commons, a converted shipping container transformed into a cafe and co-working space. Local coffee, high-speed Wi-Fi, comfortable seating. A place people would want to be. Green space, real grass, native plants, outdoor seating. I turned one corner of the parking lot into a pocket park. The experience, digital reservations, app-based payment, loyalty programs. I hired a developer to create software that integrated everything seamlessly. My family didn't visit during construction. Not once. Until the week before opening. I was pressure washing the last section of new pavement when a Tesla pulled up. Vanessa stepped out, looking around with barely concealed surprise. Harper, this is actually impressive. Thanks. Dad wanted me to check on you.
He's concerned you're in over your head. I'm fine.
She walked the perimeter, her real estate developer's eye cataloging everything. How much have you invested? That's not really your business. I'm trying to help, Harper. Look, you've done well here, but running a business is different than building one. Chen Properties has experience with commercial operations. We could take this over, manage it properly. You'd still get a percentage. No. Don't be stubborn. This is bigger than you can handle alone. Vanessa, I said no. This is mine. Her expression hardened. You've always been like this. Too proud to accept help.
Too stupid to recognize opportunity.
She left without another word. PowerShift Hub opened on a Saturday in October. Hit that like button if you've ever had to prove yourself to people who doubted you. Because what happened next changed everything. Asterisk. The first customer arrived at 6:47 a.m., a nervous graduate student in a used Nissan Leaf who couldn't believe the charging station was real. By noon, every charger was occupied. By evening, I had a waiting list. Word spread fast in the EV community. PowerShift Hub wasn't just functional, it was beautiful. People posted photos. A local food blogger featured the cafe. A tech journalist wrote an article, How One Engineer is Solving the EV Charging Desert. 3 months in, I was profitable. 6 months in, I had a contract with a university to provide fleet charging for their electric maintenance vehicles. 9 months in, I hired my first 3 employees. 1 year in, Marcus and I started discussing expansion to a second location. My family still didn't visit. Until they needed something. The call came on a Tuesday morning. Harper, it's Dad. We need to talk.
Family dinner tonight.
I almost said no, but curiosity won. They were all there. Dad, Mom, Vanessa, even Vanessa's husband Bradley. The table was set formally, like this was a business negotiation. Because it was. Harper, we've been watching your success with PowerShift Hub, my father began. It's impressive work. You've proven you have business acumen. Thank you. We'd like to bring PowerShift into the Chan Properties portfolio, Vanessa said. We're expanding into sustainable development, and your charging stations would be the perfect flagship project. I set down my fork. You want to buy my business? Partner with it, Bradley corrected. Chen Properties would provide capital for expansion, operational support, corporate infrastructure. You'd retain creative control. While Chen Properties owns majority stake and makes all real decisions, I finished. My father nodded. It's how business works, Harper. You've built the prototype.
Let us build the empire. And if I say no?
Silence. My mother spoke softly. Harper, don't be foolish. This is your chance to be part of the family business. To finally work together. You mean for you. Don't be dramatic, Vanessa snapped. We're offering you millions. Most people would kill for this opportunity. Then most people can have it. I'm not selling.
Harper, my father's voice carried an edge now.
Be reasonable. I am being reasonable. You gave me a cracked parking lot because you thought I was worth nothing. I turned it into something valuable. Now you want to take it because you were wrong about me. I stood up. The answer is no. PowerShift Hub stays mine. I left them sitting there, stunned. CTA number 3. Asterisk subscribe if you want to see what happens when family tries to take what you built. Because they weren't done with me. Asterisk. 2 months later, my father called again. His voice was different. Strained. Harper, I need to ask you something. It's difficult. What is it? Chin Properties is facing some cash flow issues. Temporary, but serious. We need a short-term loan.
$200,000.
I almost laughed. You're asking me for money? It's business, Harper. We'd pay you back with interest. 10%. 6-month term. Why can't you get a bank loan? Silence told me everything.
Dad, what happened?
Some investments went wrong. We overextended on a development project. The market shifted. It's temporary, but the banks won't touch you. Harper, this is family. Chen Properties has been in our family for 30 years. Vanessa's future, your mother's security, it all depends on
me bailing you out.
On you helping family. I thought about every family dinner where I was the joke. Every time Vanessa rolled her eyes at my career choices. Every disappointed sigh from my father. No, Dad. I'm not your bank. Harper, please. You gave me a worthless lot because you thought I couldn't handle real value. You tried to buy my business because you wanted to control it. Now you want me to fund your failures? No. You're going to let your family lose everything? You let me start with nothing. I hung up. The guilt hit immediately. Then the anger. Then the clarity. They'd never valued me. They only valued what I could give them. The first complaint arrived 2 weeks later. An anonymous tip to the city claimed PowerShift Hub was violating electrical codes. Inspectors came. They found nothing wrong. Then came complaints about noise, traffic, environmental violations. All anonymous. All unfounded. But they kept coming. The city sent me a letter. Due to multiple complaints, we're conducting a comprehensive inspection. PowerShift Hub must cease operations pending review. I was being shut down. I hired a lawyer. This is coordinated, she said, reviewing the complaint timeline. Someone's trying to bury you in bureaucracy.
My family.
Can you prove it? I couldn't. Until I could. One of my employees, a tech-savvy kid named Jordan, had an idea. The email addresses on the complaints are anonymous, but every email has metadata. If we could access the city's records. That's probably illegal. A public records request isn't. We can request all complaint documentation. They have to redact personal info, but sometimes metadata slips through. We filed the request. 3 weeks later, we had our evidence. The complaint emails had been sent from multiple anonymous accounts, but the metadata revealed they'd all been sent from the same IP address block, one registered to Chen Properties. My own family was trying to destroy my business. Comment exposed if you think I should go public with this. Because I was about to make a choice that would blow up everything. I could have gone to the press immediately, exposed them publicly, destroyed their reputation the way they tried to destroy mine. Instead, I called my father one last time. I know what you're doing. The complaints. The IP addresses. I have proof. Silence. Dad, why? Why would you do this? His voice was cold. You humiliated this family. You refused to help when we needed you. What did you expect?
I expected you to be my father.
I am your father. And you've been a disappointment since the day you chose that environmental nonsense over the family business. You think you're better than us? You think you can just walk away? I didn't walk away. You pushed me out.
Then you tried to take what I built.
That parking lot was worthless. We gave you nothing because you were worth nothing. The words hung between us.
Well then, I said quietly.
You should be happy with what you're about to get back. I went public. The story hit local news first. Real estate dynasty accused of sabotaging daughter's green energy business. Then regional. Then, because it involved EV infrastructure and family drama, it went viral. The documentation was damning. The timeline of complaints. The metadata. The fact that Chen Properties had tried to buy PowerShift Hub, been refused, and then immediately started filing false complaints. The city cleared me of all violations and issued a public apology. Chen Properties wasn't so lucky. The fallout was swift. Chen Properties lost 3 major clients within a week. 2 banks called in loans. The Commercial Real Estate Board opened an ethics investigation. Vanessa called me, crying. Harper, you've destroyed us. Dad's had to liquidate assets. We might lose the company. You tried to destroy me first.
We're family.
You keep saying that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. Please, Harper. We need help. We need a loan. $500,000. We'll pay you back.
No.
Harper. You told me I was worth nothing. You tried to steal my business. You filed false complaints to shut me down.
Now you want me to save you. We're desperate.
So was I. When I was living in a studio apartment and eating ramen so I could make payroll. When banks wouldn't loan me money because I was too risky. Did you help me then?
That was different.
It's exactly the same. You wanted me to fail. Now you're failing. That's not my responsibility. You're heartless. No, Vanessa. I'm done being your safety net. Figure it out yourselves. She hung up cursing. 6 months later, Chen Properties filed for bankruptcy. The Emerald Coast Mansion, the one Vanessa got in the inheritance, went to foreclosure auction. I bought it. Like this video if you believe in poetic justice. Because this is where the story comes full circle. Asterisk. The mansion became PowerShift Retreat. I converted the main house into a conference center focused on sustainable business development and clean energy education. The guest house became short-term rental space for visiting researchers and entrepreneurs. The beach became a community space for environmental education programs. It wasn't about revenge. It was about transformation. Taking something meant for exclusivity and making it serve everyone. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The grand opening made national news. Engineer buys sister's foreclosed mansion, turns it into green energy education center. Marcus flew in for the ribbon cutting. You know, he said, looking around, when I invested in that parking lot, I thought maybe we'd make some money on charging fees.
I didn't expect you to build an empire.
I didn't build it for revenge. I know. That's why it worked. My family showed up that day. Not for the ceremony. After. They looked smaller somehow. My father's shoulders stooped. Vanessa's designer clothes replaced with department store basics. My mother's face drawn with stress. Harper, my father said. Can we talk? We sat in the garden, the one I'd installed where Vanessa's lap pool used to be. The mansion looks good, he said quietly.
Better than when it was ours.
Thank you. We lost everything. The company, the properties, our reputation. Chen Properties is gone.
I know.
Vanessa's working retail. Bradley left her for someone younger, someone wealthier. Your mother and I are in a two-bedroom rental. Part of me felt satisfaction. A larger part felt sad. Why are you telling me this? I asked. My mother spoke up. We want to know if there's any way we could rent the guest house. We can't afford much, but we could work here. Help with maintenance or events or… You want me to hire you? We want a chance, my father said, to prove we're not the people we were, to make amends. I studied their faces, looked for signs of manipulation, found only exhaustion and genuine humility.
Here's what I'll offer, I finally said.
The guest house has 3 units. I'll rent you the smallest one at market rate. No family discount. If you can't afford rent, I'll deduct it from your paychecks if you work here. But it's a job, not charity. Same expectations as any employee. We'll take it, my mother said immediately. And there's one more thing. I looked at my father. You once told me I was worth nothing, that I'd never understand real value.
I need to hear you say you were wrong.
The silence stretched. Finally, my father nodded. I was wrong. About you. About what matters. About everything that counts. Okay then. You can move in next week. Subscribe for more stories about turning obstacles into opportunities. Because this is what happened next. That was 3 years ago. PowerShift Hub has expanded to 5 locations across 3 cities. PowerShift Retreat hosts conferences year-round and has become a model for adaptive reuse of luxury properties. My parents work in facilities management and have stopped trying to give me business advice. Vanessa manages the retreat's booking system and hasn't mentioned Chanel once. We're not close. Maybe we never will be. But we're honest now. Last month, my father asked if we could talk. We sat in the same garden where they'd asked for help 3 years ago. I've been thinking about that inheritance, he said. The parking lot.
What about it?
I told everyone I gave it to you as a test.
That wasn't true.
He looked at his hands. I gave it to you because I thought you'd fail. I wanted to prove you needed us, that your independence was childish.
I wanted you to come crawling back. I know, Dad. You knew.
Of course I knew. But I decided to prove something different, that your opinion of my worth wasn't the truth. Just your opinion. He nodded slowly. You've built something remarkable, Harper. Not just the businesses. The way you've lived. Your integrity. Even the way you handled us when we didn't deserve mercy. I didn't do it for you.
I know.
That's what makes it meaningful. We sat in comfortable silence. You know what's funny?
I said.
You thought you were giving me nothing, but you gave me the most valuable inheritance of all. A parking lot? Freedom. No strings attached. No expectations to live up to. No shadow to step out of.
Just space to become who I needed to be.
My father smiled, a real smile, maybe the first genuine one I'd ever seen from him. Your mother says you're the smart one.
She's right.
She worked retail with Vanessa for 6 months.
That'll change anyone's perspective.
He laughed. Actual laughter.
Can I tell you something, Harper?
Sure. The day I gave you that deed, I thought I was punishing you. Now I realize it was the only good decision I made as a father. Not because of what the property became, because it forced you to succeed without me. I just wish I'd been smart enough to do it on purpose. I reached over and squeezed his hand. Maybe that's what second chances are for. Learning what you should have known the first time. People ask me sometimes if I regret how everything happened. If I wish I'd gotten the mansion, the easy inheritance, my family's approval from the start. I don't. Because here's what I learned. When people give you nothing, they give you everything. Freedom from their expectations, permission to fail on your own terms, space to build something truly yours. The mansion would have come with strings. Expectations. The weight of family legacy and pressure to maintain their vision of success. The parking lot came with nothing but space, literal and metaphorical, to create whatever I wanted. My father thought he was teaching me a lesson about my worth. Instead, he taught me that worth isn't inherited. It's created. Vanessa got a mansion she lost. I got a parking lot I transformed. She got their approval. I got my independence. She got their legacy. I built my own. And when everything fell apart, when their empire crumbled and their carefully constructed world collapsed, I had something they never did, a foundation built by my own hands, with my own vision, owing nothing to anyone. That cracked parking lot was the best inheritance I ever could have received. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share. Tell me in the comments, have you ever turned someone's low expectations into your greatest motivation? I'd love to hear your stories. Remember, your worth isn't determined by what others give you or what they think of you. It's determined by what you build when no one believes you can. Asterisk. This is Harper Chen, reminding you that sometimes the smallest seeds grow the tallest trees. And sometimes, the greatest inheritance is the one that forces you to inherit nothing but your own strength.